Welcome to Mortgage Lending Mastery, the world's longest running podcast in the mortgage industry. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, with over 4 decades of mortgage, real estate, and financial services experience, providing the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently. Hey there, Lady Jen Du Plessis. Glad to have you back. I'm so glad you're here today. This is another Jen's Dots. Today we're going to talk about pennies versus quarters. Pennies versus quarters. So often I talk about this. So this might be, well, we'll see where I take this today. In business, when we first start off, we have a tendency to want to work with everybody and anybody, hence the pennies. So I'm going to ask you this question. Would you rather work with 100 pennies or 4 quarters? And this is one of the strategies that I have developed over, probably 20, 25 years. I developed this strategy with all of the partners that I have, with all of the affiliates, with the clients I have. Every one of them, I've developed this thought process of, am I working with pennies or am I working with quarters? Now, be very clear about this. To be clear about this, this is not about the quality of the person. This is definitely not that. This is not, it's not having 100 clients paying you $27 a month versus 4 clients paying you $100,000 each. Okay. This is not about that kind of quality, but it is about your time. So let's be real clear about that. This is about your time. Working with pennies versus working with quarters is about your time. If you choose to work with 100 pennies, 100 people paying you $27 a month, that's fantastic. Just do it as a group, right? You would not have 100 individual phone calls or allow them to have that much access to you. You just don't have that kind of time. If you really want a business that's going to be sustainable for the long haul and for you to personally be sustainable for the long haul. The other thing is you can apply this to, and we'll go back to that in just a moment, but you can also apply this, just a little side note, to the people you hire. Do you want to have several virtual assistants who can do a little bit of everything that you have to deal with all the time and that you're constantly asking and trying to figure out what their skill set is? Or would it be better for you to have 4 people that do a multitude of things, have the technical skills to do, or learn, you can teach them or pay for them to be taught to learn the technical skills or whatever the skills are, so that you're only working with 4 people and only having to communicate with 4 people. This is one of the keys to success. Time is money. You hear this all the time. Time is money. And that is so true, especially when you're trying to grow a big business or scale your business. It's not about consumption, right? It's not about that consumption. It's about conserving. That's another one I should be doing, right? Another Jen's job. It's not about the consumption of your time or the consumption of having, and even the ego of it. The ego of, I have 100 clients versus I have 4 clients, right? The 4 quarters. This is not an ego-driven piece. This is all about your time. Time is money, and your expertise is very, very important. And so working with 4 quarters versus pennies is critical. So again, I'm not going to talk about the employee side of this, but if you have 100 employees coming to you with questions and questions and questions, and you haven't put layers of managers in between so that you only have to work with the managers. This is why we have these corporate structures, right? That there's no way this big CEO of a major corporation can talk to the thousands of employees that they have. There are layers of this. I'm specifically talking about the relationships that you have with your referral partners, your vendors, and your collaborative, joint venture and affiliate partners. When you're networking, I've seen a lot of people, and I read this someplace, I don't remember where I read it a long time ago, but I continue to use it. When you go networking, there's a plethora of different styles of networkers. One is a squirrel, and that's a person who just runs around and talks to everybody and gathers everybody's business card, right? That's pennies. right? Needs everybody's business card to make them feel that, because they went networking and they got all that information, and they have everybody's cards, they can put them in their database and they can start soliciting to them. It's like, it's a squirrel. I mean, they're just gathering nuts. It's crazy. And they don't really get anywhere. Then you have a sloth, right? The person who is really slow and they don't really want to be at networking. They stand in the corner. They're waiting for people to come and talk to them because they're afraid to. Maybe they're an introvert, right? And they may or may not get a benefit from networking. Maybe someone will find them and go, wow, they're an incredible person, but the odds are not that good of them being able to, get a lot of business. Then you have a skunk, right? The one where you're standing and you're talking to a few people and you see this one person come in and you lean into your group and say, hey, everybody, pretend like, this is that, and, avoid this person. Or, ooh, here they come. Oh God, here we go. They're here again. And they're going to be asking about this and asking about that. And it's the person, everybody goes, oh, yeah, they're stinky, they're smelly. No one wants to be around them. Then there's the spider, right? The spider is the one who creates and designs this beautiful web, right? That we talk about the World Wide Web, right? The internet, this highway of communication amongst all these people, and is attracted. People are attracted to spiders because they've designed this beautiful networking web. And that allows you to pick and choose. It allows you to say, I don't like that fly that just got caught in my web. I like the big bug I got caught in the web, right? And allows you to pick and choose and work with the people that align with you, that complement you, that you feel could help contribute to moving your business forward, that will reciprocate, right? These are strong business relationships. So what I found over the years, and I've actually developed a system on this, and maybe in this podcast, we'll put the link to this. It's on our website. Well, I'll just tell you what it is, but we will put the link. It's just go to jenduplessis.com. And then on the upper tab, you'll find courses, and it's called Intro to Income. And what I've done over the years is I've worked in a way that I want to go to networking to do one-to-many, and you should be wanting to do that as well. You should be networking, you should be speaking at any presentation you can get in front of any group of people, one-to-many. And through that, you can pick from the litter. That's what the whole point of that is. You don't go to networking to get business. That's the skunk. Give me business, give me business, give me your business card. That's a squirrel, right? You go to networking to identify potential partners and maybe identify potential clients. If all you're doing is going there for clients, you have a 50-50 shot. Either they're going to work with you or they're not. But if you're going there to identify potential partners, the sky's the limit, right? You're not looking for leads, you're looking for leads and referrals and speaking and sharing ideas and. So I always look at networking as being an opportunity, an opportunity to look for opportunities. That's where I'm going to network. I'm looking for opportunities, which include leads, which include speaking, which include collaborative events together, right? It includes all of that. But if you're one-sided and you just want to simply go and get leads, right? That's all you're there to do, then you're going to be that squirrel or that skunk, and you're not going to get the results that you want. So building this beautiful web and designing it so that you can attract the people that will align with you and the people you want to work with, you're going to have a higher percentage of loyalty. You're going to have deeper, stronger relationships as opposed to the peripherals, right? They always say, go deeper, not wider. Why don't we go deeper? So many people don't go deeper. They definitely go wider. I need more leads, need more people in my database, need more people in, I need more. And yes, to a certain extent, that is good. But trimming it down, there's also a saying, less is more. There's a reason why. So I encourage you, instead of working all these ridiculous hours, going to every networking event, collecting all the cards, asking people for business constantly, hey, do you want to work with me? Hey, I want to sell you on this, pitching people constantly. And even after the networking, when you've identified someone who might be a potential partner, meeting them and pitching them, again, 50-50, they're either going to work with you or they're not. Why not explore opportunities that each of you could get a multitude of clients, multitude of opportunities to get you more clients down the road. To do that, that is much more effective than the latter, which is working with everybody and anybody and accumulating. Now, I have a colleague who mails 1 million emails a month, and that's a lot. I mean, he's got a huge, huge, huge database. He does 1 million emails maybe a week. He sends out 1 million. He's got tons of people in his database, and maybe he feels proud about that. Maybe, well, he does, because he's told me I send 1 million emails, and yes, he does very, very well. But if you look at the percentages, there's a lot of fallout. There's a lot of fall through. There's a lot of people that unsubscribe, and he has to constantly be bringing people in. He doesn't go deep. Now he does. I shouldn't say that. He goes deep with 1 million people. I think I could have, from the external, I could say he's probably deep with 20 people, if that, out of 1 million. What I'm suggesting for you is that you're deep with 12 people, 15 people out of whatever your number is. That conversion is so much higher. My practice, my previous business, right? Not my business now, but when I was in financial services in the mortgage business, all of my business was done with 12 people. I take that back. It was done with 22 people. Okay, 22 people. I had a big database. Well, what's big? 8,000 people? It's not that big. I had a database of 8,000 people, and I did business with 22. And of the 22, I had my top 12. I call it my apostles, right? My 12. How would your business change if you got one quality referral? And I call quality meaning that it has an 85% conversion rate, right? Because they're saying, hey, not here's a bunch of people to call, but here's the person you need to call. Quality referral that you have an 85% chance of converting. What if you got one referral from each one of those 12 people every month? That's 12 referrals a month. Quality referrals you're going to close business with. Now multiply that times 12. That's 144 quality referrals a year. Let's say you converted 100 of them, 100 of those 144. How would that change your business? How would that change your business? This is working with quarters and not pennies. It's too much work. We have infinite time. We have infinite energy. I'm sorry, we have finite time. We have finite energy. And working with those thousands and thousands of pennies is not going to move the needle on your business. It's not going to help you multiply your results in record time. But going deeper with a handful that are the right partners. And again, if you go to jenduplessis.com and look for our course Intro to Income, you can find details about it, about how you actually do all that, because it's, it's an 8-week course. So there's a lot to talk about. But I want to just point out here, as a business owner, this is from the grapevine, right? You're going to harvest a few relationships. This happens in winemaking too. You see these barrels, if you're watching here, you see these barrels in this barrel room. Some of those barrels are not going to be good. I promise you. We've had plenty of situations where the barrels have just gone bad, right? But we can only put a certain amount of barrels in a barrel room. You can only plant a certain amount of vines, and some of the vines will be good and some of them won't be. But if you just constantly buy more land and plant more vines and more land and plant more vines, pretty soon you're not paying attention to any of the vines. And they all start going bad and you don't get the results that you need. So think about this. Who are people in your life that are acting like pennies, that are pennies, that don't contribute much? And who are those that are the quarters in your life and in your business? Who are the quarters? Maybe they're dimes right now and you can elevate them to a quarter. Maybe you need to have a process in how you can discern where you should be spending your time. Maybe you should be spending your time more with them than with the people that are the flurry of activity and the noise and the need, and they're taking up all your time, right? And you think, wow, it's a false sense of security, versus those who you don't hear from very often, but when you do, it's in the bag, right? Makes sense? So Take time to figure that out. Write down a list of all the people that you're actively working with. Lean into those relationships, develop stronger, deeper relationships for both sides so that you both get more opportunities. I'll catch you on the next episode. Hope this is helpful. Thank you for joining Mortgage Lending Mastery. If you found value in today's conversation and would like to get support, simply go to supportfromjen.com. That's supportfromjen.com, or reach out to me on social media. Keep watching and listening for more insider secrets, stories, strategies, and ideas to help you become a master in your business.